So we have here one of the documents that I've been going through about. It's from the Holy Office at the time, the February 1949, and I just thought it's interesting because there was that meeting where the three fathers, the Servites of Maria, had with the Holy Father, and many people saying, no, that didn't happen unless there's something official from the Vatican. Can you trust these anonymous quotes? But when we go down here, they had tried to stop the publication of Maria Valtorta's work. Then the Holy Office, like they tried to stop Padre Pio and some works about him being published, and these are the same people that stopped Padre Pio. So this letter, by Giovanni Pepe, this protocol number 35545 on the Holy Office on February 1949. This same person is also at the exact same time stopping or had stopped Padre Pio. And it's interesting because in here we also have mentioned Gabriele Ruschini. And, he is expressing his doubts. Gabriele Ruschini is saying, she's attributing things to God, and it could be an angel, a demon, an angel of light. He's not endorsing the writings. Now, this is Gabriele Ruschini in 1949. By the 1970s, Father Gabriele Ruschini, was relocating the remains of Maria Valtorta to the Basilica in Florence. And he writes the book, The Virgin Mary and the Writings of Maria Valtorta, which he sends to Paul VI. Paul VI, who happened to have been working under Pius XII at this exact time. Paul VI, who buys the writings of Maria Valtorta and places them in the library of his seminary. So, for whoever's leaked this document, and we see the thought of Father Gabriele Ruschini then in 1949, we have to judge Father Gabriele Ruschini at the end of his life, nearly 25 years later, 30 years later, 25 years later, and what he has to say at the end of his life about Maria Valtorta. Anyway, there's something here. It's a whole chapter here. It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. And it has I'm just going to bring this down here. Maria Valtorta, for her part, in a letter addressed to the Holy Father on November 9th, 1948, said, I have entrusted the writings to the Order of the Servites of Mary. They are the ones who take care of its faithful transcribing and to present it to the volumes as they are transcribed. The fathers Chechen, Migliorini and Berti therefore executed a mandate received by Valtorta in open disobedience to the decree of the Holy Office mentioned above on March 13th, 1946, approved by His Holiness. So he is getting annoyed that they don't listen to him. They go directly to the Holy Father, which they did. They sent him the writings. They send the Pope the writings, and the Pope reads the writings. In fact, they did something more. They dared to ask for a special Holy Father's audience. They obtained it on February 26, 1948. So here we have the final document, official Vatican document, to say that the audience did happen. And we know from the audience that Pope Pius XII asked for the works to be published, and asked the grace to be able to print the volumes of the dictations and visions of Valtorta. But His Holiness very skillfully imposed on them, in turn, to an ordinary in order to obtain the Imprimatur for the publication of the words of eternal life, or the Gospel of Jesus Christ, in which they were interested. And they went in search for an ordinary. Yes, Pius XII said for the work to be published. And so Pius XII overrules Father Giovanni Pepe, So if Pius XII says that they could be published, which he said to them. He said, go and do the normal thing and get an imprimatur, which they got an imprimatur. They got an imprimatur from His Eminence Camillo de Romanis. Sorry, Monsignor Berneschi, Bishop, title of Tagaste and an apostolic vicar to Swaziland. He was the first one. They actually later got another imprimatur until they stepped in. So, like, it is fascinating to see the back and forth, what is happening here, etc., etc., regarding the work. I mean, a lot of what is discussed here has been discussed ad nauseum already, and we knew a lot of this thing. But it's interesting. They mention the audience, and they mention that Pope Pius XII said to get an imprimatur, and they get an imprimatur, and yet still they're not able to publish. And this is, I think this document is more telling than anything else. And leaking this document now is opening up a whole other can of worms. You're trying to draw us back to the debate in the 1940s when Father Gabriele Ruschini has changed his opinion. He reburied her remains in the basilica. Yeah, it's interesting. But now we have from the Holy Office that interesting fact that there was, we knew it from the Observatorio Romano that there was an audience, but we also know from that audience that Pope Pius XII had read her work, and we also know that Pope Pius XII had asked for it to be published and to go through the normal channels of getting an imprimatur, which they did. Anyway, interesting. God bless you. Take care. Bye bye.